Hello everyone, Elohim here. First of all, let me light a little candle here for this workshop. And we go to talk about protection magic and how we formulate spells of protection, how we create and perform these spells continually for different purposes, for different goals, and these kind of things. How authors create these kind of protection spells, rituals, and charms that they put in their books, including myself. I can't talk for everybody. Well, I include myself here. Other people with similar views than myself. And how we cast these spells and how we make them like result, because you can collect hundreds of spells for some work, but if those spells don't work, why you have them? It's more effective have one or two very effective spells for one thing that actually works than having hundreds of spells out there. Like, oh, I have these 100 love spells, and these love spells works. This means that you sit down to practice one spell after other, because any of them result, and at the end, after 200, 300, 400 love spells, you finally have a result. So you really don't know if the result is because you have a lot of energy going into that direction, or it's because one of those spells actually works, because it's a very weird and wide topic here, right? So my background on this is not wise sage, no worries. Anyway, you can say me, I don't really care, but just to clarify, it's not wise sage. If you go to cancel me, do it for something that actually matters. This is Dragon's Blood, probably very tainted because usually this don't look so red. Rosemary, and I add a little bit of Yerba Santa. In Venezuela, I don't use the word voodoo to refer to Afro-Caribbean culture outside of the Afro-Caribbean magic, like, except for Haitian voodoo, which is more in some ways close to United States and have a very strong French influence for obvious reasons. Dominican Republic, those areas of the Caribbean where you can find Puerto Rican voodoo, Dominican voodoo, Haitian voodoo. When we go to South America, we just use the word voodoo to refer in a very wide aspect to the practice of black people from United States. When you sit down in a conversation with other people, I don't know what your books say about it, but what we actually do when we are sit down in a table to talk with other people about these kind of things, we say, oh, this is a voodoo spell. This means this is a spell from United States, from black people from United States. If the spell comes from someone, a friend of yours, your padrino, your teacher who practice and is initiated in Asian voodoo, Dominican voodoo, Puerto Rican voodoo, we are very specific. This is in Asian voodoo, people say this or do that. I just noted that with my accent, probably you confuse when I pronounce Asian from IT to Asian from Asia. Sorry for that. I'm talking about America, not from Asia. I don't know if people in Asia practice any kind of similar thing to voodoo. I don't really know, and I don't think so. But I am not totally ignorant on the topic. In Venezuela, for example, we have this spell. If we had some kind of voodoo, which we not, but if we have something similar to that, is this kind of indigenous, very evolved magic that for some reason never has the influence of folk Catholicism magic in there, and that part of the craft, which is like very well known, popularly, is all kind of folk magic, I dare to say. in lack of a different term. I'm not the smartest person in the room, so it's difficult to find terminology for this, especially because English is not my first or second language, so it's very complicated to give you the right words. But we have this spell that you look for the not the squares, the corners, that's the word, the corners of your house, and in each corner outside of the house, the area of the patio, visualize the house in the middle of a ground, in the middle of a land, in the middle of a mountain, very close to a river, whatever place. Very close to the foundations of the house, in every corner, you make a little hole there, and you put some stuff in there. I remember that is, you put white pepper, black pepper, salt, ashes, tobacco leaves, and for each corner you will put one drop of blood in that space. You put all the ingredients, and if your house have 4 corners or 5 corners or 6 corners, in each corner you go to put one drop of blood for each one of those corners, and you will do that in every corner of the house, doing it clockwise. But it's like, it's very traditional to do, but it's very odd because if you live in the city, probably you live in an apartment, so how you go to cast this kind of a spell? You can do the spell in the building where you live, where with another, I don't know, 100 families. I remember the apartment of my mom in the city, in Caracas, is this very big place with 3 large buildings, 24 floors each building, and each building has 4 apartments in each floor. This is like 96 apartments, I think. So we're talking that you can cast a spell to protect 96 families in there without any permission or talking with people or other stuff. It's like too much work in there, right? But this is a common traditional spell that people do in there. It's not a Catholic spell, it's a folk Catholic magic spell. It's not some kind of voodoo with influence from the United States. It's things that we actually have, that we receive from the sea and the tobacco leaves that are mostly from Amazonas, and we put all of this together with your own blood, and you just do that. You don't pray, you don't do anything, you just put that in the hole, you cover the hole, and that start working like 2 weeks after. You are marking in some way every corner. When we do protection magic, because I do a lot of workshops in protection magic, because for some reason it's one of the most popular things that people like. I rather to offer workshops on money magic, because I see that my money magic particularly is effective. I see the workshops or spells from other people, and I see like, now I notice why this is not working for you. The spell is magnificent, but this is not really working, because I'm seeing the results. I see you struggling. When I do money magic, I see like the results. But when, for example, love magic, I'm terrible. But when it's money magic, protection magic, I have like a very big field in there. And every time that I offer a workshop on protection magic, a lot of people come to the workshop, but it's also a lot of questions. And very often these are the same questions. From where you take this spell, how you cast that spell, how you create this spells go to work, how we formulate the spells, at least for myself, and how we do in my family and in some of my traditions. We use most of the time, I can say that in all the ways of magic is similar, but I think that in a big area, in a very wide area of the craft, we use essentially sympathetic magic to create spells. We try to create or recreate the energy or the sensation, the feeling of something that we know, and we try to put that out there in the world in some direction. For example, love magic with apples. Apples are red, like the blood, remind you the way of a heart. They are very strong. It's like that kind of love without any influence from outside, from third or fourth people talking to you or talking to your partner. Is a very powerful protection love spell that you do with your partner. And when you open the apple, you see the little star inside, all these kind of things. Uh, if you do protection magic, you take these plants from the backyard, from the garden, or from your little pot in your window that you are actually using, because these are poisonous plants. These are, I know how to say, like cactus. They have these little springs in there that can hurt people. So you use these kind of things for protection magic because you want to recreate that energy out there in the wild. That's how you create the spells. I can't talk for everybody because I know that a lot of authors out there just made up stuff. Sometimes you find a book like, this book have, I don't know, 30 amazing love spells for love, and when you see the love life of this author, you know that is like a whole disaster. So it's like you are selling this to people, but this is actually not working for you. So here I have a very nice note that I always like to share in my workshops. When I write any kind of a spell in my book, because I have, first of all, I do a selection of spells. I don't put everything in there because a lot of spells can't be shared. Some spells are made for myself to be practiced by me with my partner in a very specific situation, in a very specific place, with a very specific moon phase, for a very specific reason. So I don't go to give you that spell because but a lot of spells that I do for clients, when I see that this works, oh, I can put this in my book. Let me try the spell again with this another client. Oh, this works too. So this spell just pass the line, pass the grade. This can go in a book. I don't need to make up stuff. Sometimes you see in books, I'm not talking about one person in particular, but it's something that you see many times. You see like, oh, all of these spells are for money, and the area of money of that person is like a constant struggle that you see publicly, and it's like, this is not really working for you, and you're teaching this. You see the nonsense in the area is something in there like not make me feel comfortable to share. Health magic, healing magic, a lot of times you will find in the books. Sorry, I'm making a lot of this noise with my nose, but we are in the season of allergies. This Caribbean body is not well adapted to this change to the winter. All my body is like trying to adapt. Many times you see these kind of things in books. So personally, my process is usually I try to use this idea that I just learned here in the United States, sympathetic magic, because in Venezuela, I mean, I don't know how it works when you grow up being Catholic. I don't know if you just wake up one morning and your family tells you, oh, you are Catholic. Our religion is based on this, and that. This is outdated. This is a monotheistic religion, yada, yada, yada. This book was made in the year, yada, yada, yada. I don't know if that works for other people. I don't know if that is how it works in other religions, but in mine, nobody gives me like a manual. You just grow up seeing that your family is doing this. And then when I arrived in the United States, almost 30 years later, people told me, oh, sorry, you are an animist. Sorry, what is that? Animist means that you yada yada, and I was like, oh, yeah, have certain sense, but that is more like a Western American thing that I always say. American people have this kind of, not obsession, but they really like to tag everything, and they need to put tags on everything. They need to have, they need to tag you in little boxes, and they need to put you in a box and put all the tags in there. Oh, so you are this kind of magician, but you work in the night or during the day? Well, most of my work is in the night, so you are a lunar magician. Well, I will not say that, so you are a night magician, yada yada. They like to put tags in there. It's more like, I think that is very academic and it's very nice. I don't think that can apply to everything in life, especially to spirituality and religion. It feels weird, but that's just me. Probably works for other people. I just think that religion and spirituality, when you're inside of the path or one path particularly, you see how everything changed because the world is changing, people is changing, you are evolving, you are growing, you are learning how you can practice some kind of religion or cult or any kind of practice that actually don't evolve while you are evolving and growing and learning. If you start in a path at a certain age and after 30 years you don't have any questioning about that path, I think that you are not really growing, you are just inside of a cult. Like, these are the rules and you can change them, and that's very complicated because human beings are not made exactly to follow rules. I mean, if you see all rules and laws worldwide, we are a disaster. That's the reason why we continue in continually wars worldwide, because we don't obey rules. We are made to break the rules in some way. Some people is more drastic than others, but we don't follow very close the rules. We are not all very well Capricorns that are there following the steps. Even if you're a Capricorn and you see and looks like me a very good structure, a very good order, you need to put in there some chaos when you see that the order is like, this order is not literally teaching you anything, so let me throw a little chaos in there so people will try to find a way to learn, like, oh, you forced me to learn this and now I have questions about my path. Yes, thank you, as should be, because you need to think for yourself. You can't just take the book and just follow the book rule by rule, because you're not gonna grow or evolve. You are not literally adding anything new to the path. You are not nurturing the path how the path is nurturing you. So you are just a repetition of the book. You are just an echo in there, very forgettable. When I try to create any kind of a spell, that I try to emulate feelings, sensations, memories. Like, if now that I am in the United States, more love spells that I read in the books are related with red and pink, and that is like very logical because you have the color of the roses. Sorry, you have the color of the roses, color of red wine. I think you have the color of the pink flowers, love, hearts, blood. It's like that very passionate color. It's that little red that you see around the flame. It's like very love. But I come from an Afro-Caribbean tradition. In Venezuela, we relate love with pink and yellow, essentially for pink because it's like everything was pink, I don't know. Everything related with San Valentine was pink, not red like here in the United States. And in my tradition, the love is represented in yellow, not in red. So a lot of my spells for love are used with yellow. A lot of my protection spells and money spells use pink for two different reasons. Here in the United States, people use green for money, green and brown for protection related with the mountains, with the air, because they want to bring that stubbornness of the mountain, that strength, that durability. But at the same time, I think that it's important not forget that the mountain is not just a big rock standing in there. It's a lot of life happening in there. A lot of rivers move around the mountains, and you see a lot of trees and animals and creatures. So you need to conceptualize better and deeper this idea. Like, that's exactly the energy that I'm trying to look, because maybe I need to look deeper in what I'm doing. When we try to cast very effective protection spells, is two ways for me. I can't talk for everybody, but for myself, when a client, you are my client and you come to me and you pay me for my time, you ask me to do this protections. I'm literally not breathing for my nose. This is totally local. This is like not working. I'm not breathing in this area. It's not air coming here. This is so weird, because if we were in Venezuela, this not would be happening today. It's an eternal summer in there. Anyway, if you come to me for a protection spell, obviously the first thing that I'm gonna do is ask you a lot of questions. And second, I'm gonna make you a reading which obviously you're gonna pay because it's my time, it's my knowledge, it's years of expertise, and you need to pay for the people who is working for you or with you. I don't work with my clients, I work for my clients, I'm very clear on that. And you, after that, when I figure out exactly which is the situation, okay, what kind of protection spells I need to put on you, because you come to me saying, oh, I have these enemies, these people who hate me and they are throwing me a lot of hate in the work, in the job, they are spreading rumors, yada, 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 and you give me a whole explanation. Depending on how I see the situation, I will see like, you need to just reflect this in another direction, or we need to protect you like putting a wall here to don't let these people coming into your space, into your energy, into your spirit, into your mind, into your dreams, etc., 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 etc. I can do a sweet spell, which is very easy. Put the name of the people who hate you in honey with some sweet cloves, with some sugar, especially brown sugar is super effective. Cinnamon sticks, real cinnamon, not a fake one. Maybe some rose petals in there, and I close this bottle and give it to you and keep it located very close to your room, and in 7-8 days you will see the result. These people will come like very low, like trying to create a sweet relation with you, like trying to have communication, because you are sweet in the path to connect with these people. So they will try to understand, oh, I has been a bully all this time, so let me just try to think those very few good memories that we have with each other, and how we are both struggling in the same world with the same awful boss, yada yada yada. Now if I sing your reading, because you will say to me probably that you are coarse. A lot of people come telling me I am coarse, and it's not a joke. Like, a lot of people come and say I am coarse for this person, this ex-lover, and that's all the time. I will see the reading if you're coarse or not. If I'm not sure, I'm gonna do a second reading with tobacco, because that's very more effective. And if I see that you are under a course, I need to make you a cleansing. I need to offer you a bowl of options to choose. So you will say, I can do this cleansing for myself in my home, or I need you to come to my home and do the cleansing in there, or let me charge this amulet for clean the energy, yada yada yada. I'm gonna give you the options. And after the cleansing, we will work together in put these enemies away and trying to eliminate, eradicate, bury, or reflect the course in another direction. Because if you're not a practitioner who have the time, the space, the dedication, the experience to protect yourself, to sit down in front of your altar and ask for protection to your deities, yada yada yada. Instead of that, you just read the horoscope from time to time, you buy your crystals, you carry with your crystals everywhere, but you don't have a lot of expertise in protection magic. I can't ask you do all of this. It's better if I do it, because these people is trying to kill you and they're gonna kill you. And they're gonna feel useless if I see that I received the invitation to your funeral. I'm gonna say, oh, I was so stupid in giving you this when I could do it for myself. So I'm gonna try to craft some kind of reversing course for this situation, because every course is different. That's the reason why I always insist a lot to people who stood from me or take my classes, take my workshops, and some of them who call themselves my students, I don't call them in that way, but those people who are not many, who call themselves my students, for some reason, I say to them, you need to read books on voodoo, Frugaria magic, but that is not part of my path, you need to read it, because you will find there very well effective courses. And if you want to be a good doctor and be able to heal everything, you need to understand how the illness and the sick person is working in their bodies, what is happening in their bodies, why is this happening, which is the source of the illness, so you can cure the illness. If you don't understand the illness, you will just be throwing stuff in there. Oh, charge this crystal, have this Florida water, put this moon water over your body, burn this incense, and you are just adding stuff in there. Like, this person is sick, probably dying on cancer, and you're giving this person a pill for a headache. It's like useless entirely. You need to go deeper in the situation. Like, let me try to check. Oh, you find this very specific odd item in front of your house. In Tuesday night, that's very odd. That is some Santeria happening in there. Or you find this frog without eyes but alive in front of your house in a Friday night. That's some kind of sorcerer going in there, but that is very easy to fix. You need to understand, because if not, you just start throwing protection magic over the person, shielding the person, creating a shield over the person while the person is still cursed. You are just putting a sick person inside a sick place where the person gonna end dying. You need to cure from inside, from the root. That is what best witches does, working from inside, from the root, like a very root worker. Sorry that I'm taking the term from an American analogy. When you're trying to craft any kind of protection magic, protection spell for you, because you feel that these spells that you're finding in the books are not working for you, you don't have the money or the good reference of a very good spellcaster, you don't have all the items, you need to see what do you have in your house. Start in there. Don't run to the store. Please don't run to the store. Please don't run to the store. See what you have in your house. I have cinnamon, I have sugar, I have water, I have salt, I have pepper, black pepper, white pepper, yada yada. I have rosemary, which is super effective. Even if it's over processed from a factory, discontinuing rosemary, use it. In a long term, you can buy your organic, very well made rosemary processed by the hands of a nun in Europe who brings this beautiful sacred rosemary to you in a virgin bottle of oil, yada yada yada. But while you don't have the money and the resources for that, use the rosemary that you have in your kitchen. This will work very well. And you blend the rosemary with salt, because you have two powerful protection items in there, and you can put this in water and just throw this in the corners of your house to just place and protect the place and throw away any bad energy. You need to try to reflect which is the situation exactly where I am. I'm feeling threatened for a situation or for a person, or I'm feeling cursed. Why? Which are exactly the signs that I'm presenting. I'm just remembering that I am cursed every time that something bad happens, like every 6-7 months, or this is constantly something happens, because I have clients who comes like that, like, I'm sure I'm cursed because this business is not going well. When I just sit down with them, even before the reading, I just noted that it's just their mistake. Like, you didn't the paperwork, you didn't contact the lawyer, you didn't want to invest the money in this situation, and now that you can't make the business and have the store working for you, do you think that you are cursed? Yeah, because 5 years ago, no, it's not that. You just was lazy and you didn't the paperwork. It's just that. You need to reflect about the situation. Which are the signs and things that make me think, oh, I am cursed, or someone is doing something to me. I have the other spirit going around. I have continued nightmares in my home. Are you eating every night before going to sleep around 11 p.m., or you are eating a regular hour, and even with that you continue having nightmares with different characters in different situations every night? Because everything can cause a nightmare. Did you live the situation that you see reflected in the nightmare? You live a similar traumatic situation in your life years ago? Yes, I was in a car accident like that in my nightmare. What do you need right now as a therapist? Not me. I can sell to you a very nice charm bag for a spell, for a sleep. I'm sorry, for a sleeping very well. But do you definitely need to go with your therapist? I can advise you for 1-2, and I can give you the contact of a lot of very good therapists. Some of them free, but you need to make the work for yourself. Something that I can do, because I'm not a doctor, I'm not a therapist, I'm not a psychologist. So you sit down, you take the notes, stop being lazy, and you see, okay, these are the signs This is the frequency of these situations happening. So maybe I am cursed. So how I can do this? Which ingredients and elements and resources I have with me in my kitchen, in my bed? Oh, I need to craft a charm bag or a little spell for protection. And I don't have the clothes. Take an old t-shirt that you have with you and just cut that thing and use make with that your charm bag. The t-shirt have your energy, and probably if you are like me, a lot of hair in your t-shirt, and just make that for your protection spell. That will work very well. And if you see that this is not resulting, then you can go for assistance and pay to someone who make the work. The best protection spells are those that are made for yourself in a very specific situation for yourself. Like I can take the protection spells for any book, but that author could cast those protection spells under two situations. Was just making up a lot of stuff in the book, like a lot of authors do, or maybe that author have a lot of clients who comes to her, him, they, their, it, to be for protection magic. And this person, this author, cast all of these spells and then put all of these spells together in the book. But those were very different situations. If I cast a spell, a money spell for myself, no, a love spell. Let me put this different in a very uncomfortable situation, in a situation where I has not been before. I am not divorced, but if I were divorced, I do this love spell for myself to bring someone in my life. But I am a divorced person. I have problems of character. I am in a very bad financial situation, and I need someone who give me like support, who makes me feel loved, but at the same time understand that I am struggling right now. Not like for giving me money, but someone who support me and find me to help me to find a job. These kind of things, you know, a very odd situation. And I cast that love spell for that situation specifically from a place of struggle, checking the moon phases, the solar season. Oh, we are in the season of, I don't know, Sagittarius. The moon is in Virgo, in Capricorn, whatever. I need very well air sign because you need that energy in there. And I'm casting this spell with red candles, with apples, with strawberries, with roses, with honey, with a bunch of stuff in there, like too much. And someone else out there is looking for love, and these spells catch that person and bring that person in my journey. So now I can say that the love spells work, and I put this spell right down in a book, and you're trying to recreate the spell under other different circumstances. Probably the spell not go to work in the same way, or even don't go to work at all. We'll do something because I have the theory that I have proved a lot of times, will continue being a theory, that every spell that you do always will work. Not maybe not sometimes how you're expecting, maybe not in the same way that for other people. You can sit down, like when I do these charm bags workshops in the stores, that we all sit down in the table and we have all the ingredients in there. We all have the same ingredients in the same place, in the same phase, in the same time and space, sharing all the ingredients together, and we craft all of these charm bags for love, for happiness, for abundance, for financial abundance, for prosperity, for healing, for protection, yada yada yada. And we are all together in the room, casting this spell, sharing all of this energy at the same time. And at the end of the day, each one of us have our charm bags. The protection magic will work anyway different for every person, because every person brings a different energies in a different situation. Some of them probably have a lot of enemies, probably some of them not even have enemies or anybody who hate them. Probably some of them have people in their life who hate them, but they don't know that. Like, I am too relaxed for that. I don't really care about the opinion of that people. Every person is in a different situation, so the protection magic, even if it was casted in this magical circle, in this magical place with everybody, will work different for every person, because every person there has a different mind, a different mindset, a different body, a different energy, a different background energy, a different situation, a different whole background of people in their life. So this will definitely work different and everybody's in the same room. So with books, it's exactly the same. It's no reason to believe that this go to work for you in the same way that works for the author. Give me a second, I need to drink some water. I'm back. So even if everybody's in the same room at the same time, doing the same with the same ingredients, the spell work will probably result very different for the 12, 13, 14 people who comes from that room with a little charm bag in their hands. It's a very powerful magic happening in there, but will uh, grow, manifest in a different way for every person in the room. Especially if everybody have a different pantheon. Some of them probably believe into gods. Some of them probably believe in Greek gods. Some of them believe in angels. Some of them believe in fairies. Some of them believe, oh, it's just one God in the universe and all of the others are manifestations. That's okay for me. I don't go to fight any believer on their beliefs. I'm not so arrogant for that. I really don't need that. If everybody's having a different uh, religious background, the spell will work in a different way for everybody. When I do, for example, in my book on money magic, manifestation magic, I put in there 21 rituals for money magic that works for me, and I say to the reader, this spell actually works very well for me. And the most interesting thing that is the fact that I cast these spells for myself. Something that I find out there in a book is when I noted that all of these other books and classes and workshops were working here, and a lot of the things that I bring with me from Venezuela and from other places, from Brazil, from Colombia, all of these spells not were working how I was expecting. I just say, I need to think all of this from a different aspect, from a different perspective. Obviously, it's not working. You are dealing now with spirits in a different language. You are in a different land with different energy. All the energy background is different. There you were surrounded by a lot of indigenous people, a lot of people of color, a lot of Spaniards, Italians, Portuguese who talks Spanish, and the ancestors talk Spanish, and some of them talk another languages. Anyway, these were like Latin languages, so everybody in some way understand each other. And those spirits are working with that background. And now you're in the United States, and it's a more racial culture in some way. Everything here is like based in race. The language is different, the energy feels different, the spirits feel different, the land feels different. Obviously, your spell is not working because you are trying to put your salty water that you take from the river in a big sea, the sweet water from the river in a big sea with salt water. That is what I'm trying to say. You are trying to blend stuff in there, and the salt water is like just disappearing in the big sea. Because you are trying to bring something very different, and it's just you alone in there. So obviously the energy is not working so well as you expect. So when you change the mindset and say, okay, I need to try to sit down and think all of this from a different background, from a different setup, from a different mindset, and you find this, how to cast new spells, adapting yourself to this energy, more quiet energy, this works for you. So when you check these recipes from the authors, that's the reason that I think that the best authors are those who always empower you to cast your own spells. Like, okay, this is what works for me under my situation. These are the 21 spells or my 100 charms, but also let me give you all of these other recipes. These are the ingredients I was using and for which need I have each ingredient. So now you can cast your own spell using these ingredients if you have them, and complement this with your own stuff, with your own knowledge, and cast your own magic, your own perfect, beautiful magic like you. And this will work especially for you, and you can teach your spells to someone else. Why not? These are your spells. You can do whatever you want to do with your spells. You can share them with somebody else. You can put on Facebook your spells. Nobody should care about it. It's yours. You can teach these spells to someone else and say, this works, this one not works. I have a register of all the spells that I have made that really never work for a client. In the same way, I have a very big register of all my spells that actually works. Like when clients comes to me for love magic, I immediately say to them, don't waste your time, don't waste your money. I am terrible on that. And I can give you all of these notebooks of love magic spells from which I think that just two of them actually works, three of them actually works. Um, I'm sorry, I'm human and I'm not pretending to edit this, to pretend that I'm not a human being. And, and for those who orders this, I'm, where I was with the client. So if someone comes to me for protection magic, for money magic, I will say, okay, this is what I can do for you. If someone comes to me for love magic, this is not my area. I'm gonna send you with somebody else, which I know is an expert in that area. I know two who are like very good for that, but that's not my area of expertise. I need to admit that I'm struggling with that area of magic for some reason, but in all the other areas I'm doing perfectly well. So let me cast all of this for you. When you buy these books, remember the spells that you find in there many times are made up for the authors. Because not all the authors are spellcasters, they just made up stuff. Now, if you buy the book from someone that you know that is a spellcaster, someone who actually is casting magic, is casting spells, is creating charms, and is doing stuff, these spells will work even if they are made up. They will work because you are moving an energy, you are putting things together, but they will probably not work how you're expecting to work. Now, when you have a certain level of expertise, you say, I can cast my own spell, so let me see which ingredients I have around, and I put all of this together. Because a lot of times, like for example, one time I was trying to create a money spell. I was very new in the United States. The asafoetida here in the United States, it smell very bad. That's normal, it's asafoetida. But in Venezuela, the smell is stronger and in some way have some kind of sweetness in the back when you are smelling that. Like it's like, oh, this is so disgusting, but also have something sweet in the end, like cacao, like chocolate, like something like that. Hearing is just pure evil. And I was trying to cast a money spell. I think that was a money spell. Give me a second. My two neurons are trying to decipher. It was a money spell. I was my two neurons. I was casting this money spell. I didn't have a lot of ingredients at home, so I was like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do a spell to put away the lackness, the need, all of this bad energy blocking my path, so I can let the money flow to me. So I write down lackness, another thing, and need. And I put all of this with asafoetida and I burn it all together with fire and I put it like an incense. And the smoke alarm just jumped in, obviously, because it's United States and house are made of paper. And I put all of this together and I put a little circle of salt around because I was trying to move away the bad energy that don't let the money come to me, because that was in my first years in the United States. I was really struggling with the money situation. I know was learning very well the language. I didn't have a job. I was just doing charms for like one person after another and selling stuff in a plaza and doing readings. So it was a very difficult time, and the reading how the money was like, I buy the ingredients or I buy my lunch. I don't have the money to do both things. So let me see what I have here. And I have a asafoetida because it's something that I buy but I never use. Let me try with that, and this works, right? So I continue casting other different spells after that when the money start flowing. So try to cast things that for you in some way have sense. But it's not just being an intuitive witch. It's not just, my intuition is telling me, no, it's not that. Be well informed. For which other purposes people use these plants, these crystals, these minerals, these oils, this kind of water, this moon phase, So you are having right now new moon, you are in the full moon, you are being a woman, you are in your period because your body is doing a lot of alchemy right now. You are in your period, so uh, you can do in some way blood magic. But I remember when my sisters tell me we don't do blood magic with our period because it's something that your body is literally rejecting out of you that make the work, and it's just the extra that you don't go to need because your body will create more new fresh blood. You don't need that. That your body is literally trashing outside. You don't go to use that for any kind of spells except for a very nasty spell like a love spells that will be like that person will be obsessed with you. Definitely not for a money spell, except if you want that some kind of person from the mob just knock your door and offer you money for drugs. That kind of things. You don't go to use that because it's something that, yes, it's sacred, it's coming for your body, but it's something that your body is actually rejecting in a natural way. That's something that my sister says to me. I have a lot of sisters. I am a man. I don't suffer the period, so I really can't understand that. But that, if someone do blood magic with that, it's not really my concern. But if I were a woman, I probably will not do it. And I think it's essentially that it's trying to have sense, follow your intuition, but also be very well informed. Because sometimes people say to me, "Oh, I don't need books because I am an intuitive witch." Two people has given me that argument before. I don't belong to a cover. I don't check books. I don't take classes. I don't go to workshops. I don't assist to events. I don't practice witchcraft with anybody else. And it was like, okay, so you cast your own stuff that you learn from somebody in your home. No, I am an intuitive witch. So I just feel the things around and I use that for my space. And it was like, mm, okay, I'm not gonna make any question because I really don't want to understand what disaster you're doing with your life. I'm really not concerned about it. I don't want to know. Not my area, not for me. I believe in magic in the same way I believe in science. I believe in astrology in the same way I believe in astronomy, and I like to sit down with my telescope to follow the moon in the night and stargazing and check news about galaxies and the borders of the universe and how our technology is going there to different places. And for me, magic it have a lot of like science in there. Every time that I cast a spell, I try to see how this formula, this equation of elements that I have here go to work together. I need to have all of these elements in the table in my altar to cast a spell, or this is just for decoration. Because if I am with a coven, with a group of people who are practicing something and they put like 200 things in the altar because that is the tradition to do it, I shut my mouth because that's the way and I respect that. But if I cast my own stuff in my home, oh, I just need to have these three elements in the table, everything else is decoration, put that thing away. I don't need to decorate this. This is not an offering to my gods, it's just a spell, so I just need to minimize everything to the minimum elements that I actually need, like in a math equation. I just need this, and this to have my formula, nothing else. And when you're doing your own spellcasting, it's very important what is extra, what I really need, what I really don't need, what is just decoration. I'm just putting this because I see it in a video on TikTok, or actually I'm putting these elements here because my teacher or that book or that person in who I trust told me put these ingredients in there because that little ingredient, that little ash or point of salt or that little spoon of sugar will make the whole difference in the spell that you are actually casting right now. Let me burn a little more of this to say goodbye because this has been like enough material for today. I was inspired to do this video today because I just did like five protection charms, two spells for protection for the home, and later today I'm gonna do some money magic for me and for a couple of clients, and I was just like thinking, oh, there's a lot of things happening here, and I have all of these ingredients, but also I need to wait 5 hours between one spell to another because I'm expecting for a very specific moment of the moon. So maybe I can do a video, and I have all of these ideas in my mind from days ago. So sit down, breathe very deep, relax, and every time that you do a spell, try to see which is the goal that you're looking for, which is the situation in which you are. You are doing a love spell, but you have a partner, and you are doing a love spell to increase the, I don't know how to say it, but the passion or the romance. In there, you want more passion, or you want more romance, you want more sweetness, you want more communication. You want to put this partner away and bring another one. You are totally single and you're trying to bring someone else. You are doing a money spell, but you have a job. You don't have a job. You are looking for a new job. You are looking for a change of job. You are looking to stay in your same job but have a second job. You have 2 jobs and the money is not enough, and you are trying to cast a money spell to go out of your debts, because all of these situations are entirely different, and you can't just sit down to cast the first spell that you find in a book asking you for 100 ingredients that you don't have, and then you will be like, oh, if I replace all of these ingredients for the cheap version. Don't do that. Just try to see what you have, which herbs you have in your patio, which herbs or flowers you have in the pot in your square wall window, in your window, which spices do you have in your kitchen. You have a very good amount of water that you can spend in the spell. You have some candles, you have some incense, you have something else that you can burn like incense. You have a censer. Do you have a dagger, or you have a wand? Do you have your tarot deck that you can put some cards in there for representation? Oh, I'm going to do a money spell, so let me put the card of the card here. I'm going to do a love spell, so let me put the card of the lovers here. I'm looking a spell to connect with something bigger, for guidance, because I need guidance in this moment of my life. Maybe the card of the high priestess will help me, or the high priest, or somebody else. I'm struggling in this situation in my job with all of these co-workers trying to throw me away. Maybe any card related with the source of, if I see that any card of the source in particular goes to specifically reflect the situation where I'm struggling right now, maybe that's the card that I need to use. I need to do a very big money spell because my wife is pregnant right now and I need the money. So let me put maybe a circle with all the cards of the coins and gold in there, and I can put all of this together with a little censer in the middle with a candle to illuminate the money situation in my life, that kind of things. Because any spell is perfect, not exists the perfect spell, but you can create very amazing magic if you trust in yourself and you look for the good sources of information, and if you ask the right question. It's not, oh, this book have 200, 300 of spells, so I'm gonna practice all of this. Because the life of the author is not your life, so those spells probably come from a different place than yours, from a space of privilege or from a space of struggle. These are very different situations. Just that, stay well, stay safe, be wild, don't care what people say about you. It's not about you, it's about themselves. Stay well, take care, bye.